Well, hey. It's Tina. And,
Dr. Michael Gross, how are you?
well, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so happy to be able to deliver a wonderful message. But first of all, I want to talk about a fantastic book called Healing the Holes in Your Soul by Tio Knapp. Phenomenal book. You're going to really enjoy it. I know we're getting a little reflection, so I want to get it out of the light as much as possible. But it's now available. There'll be information in the chat how you can obtain it. So, a wonderful
Perfect.
story. A woman who is like the phoenix.
Oh, he's so awesome. And I have Michael's book, The
Ooh,
Spiritual Primer. Oh, my Lanta, I tell you what, this is a must read, a total must read, okay? Because had it not been for this book and this amazing man, that book would have never been written. So, on top of that, we have a topic.
we have a topic.
We love coming to you on Sunday afternoons, and let's go ahead. Here's the twins. All right, here's
Here
the
they are.
twins, and we're going to go ahead, put the books down, and talk about what's our topic? I forgot.
It's all about finding yourself.
Finding yourself. You would think I would have known that because he's the man that helped me find myself,
All
and that
right.
comes out in the book, which is really crazy because I'm like, oh, I can't find myself already, and
Well,
we just started.
I put a little string around her so she can find herself.
Oh, it's a good thing because every now and then I wander off, and at least he can yank on the string and say,
Absolutely.
"Phew, time
Hey,
to come
sis, we
back."
got to get it going.
Well, I cannot wait to hear what Michael's going to tell us about finding ourselves. But
Absolutely.
before we do, I have this little formal introduction I try to do, and every now and then I ad lib because I don't want to be just reading it. You would think I would know it by now.
What's your name?
Oh, I know, Chris.
All right.
That was my other life. No, some of my friends actually, just so you know, some of my friends from way back know me as Chris because I was too embarrassed about my unique first name. And I just told everybody to call me Chris. And now it's like I pretty much answered anything. Okay. So anyway, back
Hey, you,
to
it's your turn. She'd answer to anything.
see. Okay, so here we go. Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on the spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. He remains humble, knowing that the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. He lives in Lakewood, Washington, and he has just launched a very powerful nonprofit. Its name is the International Institute of Self Empowerment. And I am thrilled that we do this every Sunday at 2 o'clock because I love spending time with you and just sharing powerful messages to help everybody else also. So take it away, Michael.
All right. How many times have we thought about what our life is about? And how many times have we gone around listening to others, redesigning our life to suit others? How many times have we done this to make them happy and given up our own personal self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem? How many times have we done this because we want to make others happy, much to the detriment of our own happiness? So this is all about finding yourself. And that's really hard because finding yourself is you have to define yourself. And in defining yourself, who are you? Well, you're a person. And on a spiritual level, we say you're a spiritual being having a human experience. Well, that's fine. But what does that really mean? And where are you going? And what is your destination? And how are you achieving it? That's really important for all of us to understand. Because you see, in our journey, in our path, it's all about finding yourself and who you really are. So you're not your job. You're not your title. You're not your position in the community. Even if you're on a board of directors or something, or you're PTA, or you have an official office, or you work in a large corporation, you have a title. You're none of that. But unfortunately, that facade we want to follow. Because why? It gives us self-worth. We feel good about ourselves. But do we really feel good about ourselves? Because many times the illusion of life, which is the ego, which is, I say, excuse me, edging God out, means you're following something that gives you feelings of importance, of greatness. And how many times have you heard, oh, I'm a friend of Jane Doe and they're president of this corporation, or I'm a friend of Jane Doe and they make millions of dollars. Well, big deal. What does that do with you? What does that do for you? And then there's the old cliche, you're like the 5 people you hang out with and you take on their energies. Well, there's some truth to that, and I won't deny that. But why are you hanging out with them? Do you really enjoy the company? If you do, that's a great thing. But if you're hanging out with them because they're wealthy, they're successful, and all this stuff, what are you fooling yourself about? You see, when you're doing that, and I hear that cliche all the time, and personally I'm up to here with it, is that you've taken away who you truly are. You haven't found yourself, and you're truly lost. And you've forgotten who you are, why you're here, and what your gifts are. Oh, there's something new. What are your gifts? Think about that. Your gifts are being an excellent parent or a son or a daughter, doing well, excellent work at work, but also your community. But more importantly, finding yourself. What is your mission and goals? I've talked about that so many times. But again, I want to remind everybody, it's not about the title. It's about finding yourself. How do you find yourself? That's a good question. Listening to the thoughts of your soul, which I spoke about before. So you really are a beautiful soul. Remember how I talked about created out of love, by and from, and with love. Even if you are now a single parent, even if your parents are divorced, even if you don't know who your parents are, you're still created out of love, by love, and from love, and with love. Even if it was over a night that both parties were inebriated and an accident happened. Because you see, you are an aspect of the true source. And true source, or some people say God, the true source, means that the true source is perfect energy, is love. That's it. That's all it is. Unconditional love. So here you are having that experience as a human.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, ask a question.
So what happens if, say a woman gets raped,
Okay.
okay, and gets pregnant and chooses to keep the baby?
Perfect. Well,
Question is, the whole incident was not necessarily loving.
that's true. But look at your essence. Your essence, I call it the God seed, is from the true source, the God, the true source, which is love. Now think about this, and I'll answer the rest of the question. Is that, in the Old Testament, it says that we're made in the image of God. Of course, God doesn't look like us, but, it's
Are you sure?
Well,
Sorry.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because, we're all a vibration frequency and an energy. And just remember that atoms, molecules, particles, protons, electrons, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we are. Scientists can prove it. That's taken a physical form, which you desired, which you created. Now, let's go a little bit further. And so Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within. Another little hint. But I'm not going to go into a real discussion on that. But I'm just using that as a light explanation. Therefore, there are a lot of things that happen. Now, raping is a terrible, horrendous crime. It is absolutely no excuse for that whatsoever. But at the same time, we have to take a look at something. You may not like this answer, but we have to be responsible for whatever occurs. And, let's say this woman that was raped, you know, it's just one of those things that happen. Wrong place, wrong time. Or maybe they knew they shouldn't be there. Or maybe they're there. I'm not making any excuses. It's still horrendous and it's wrong. However, there is a law of karma. And the law of karma says what comes around goes around. And I want everybody to understand that we choose our life, we choose our experiences, family, friends, relatives, we choose our children, we choose everything. Maybe that person was to learn about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. So this scenario was set up like drugs, alcoholics, so on and so forth. Or maybe they were a perpetrator in a past life and now they have to feel what it's like. Does that give you an excuse to do it? Absolutely no excuse whatsoever. And we need to understand that. And I'm not justifying rape, so don't even go there and think about it. This is terribly wrong. I can't even conceive of doing it myself. I could never, ever, ever conceive of doing that. And a lot of my male friends are the same way. We can't even conceive it. But there are those. So everything in life, like who are you? What is your life path? You're creating or allowed to be created to learn certain experiences. That's a hard experience. Or being beaten up or being abused, whatever. But the grand scheme of everything is to learn about loving yourself and realizing that you're just more than a human body. And even greater than that, it's all about finding who you are. And it's so important that we need to understand who we are. And that's why I'm talking about finding yourself. And that's why I'm talking about your energy. And that's why I'm talking about everything that occurs in your life. You either agree to before it happened, or you set yourself up in a terrible position. I'll give you an example like that. So sometimes I hear, don't take this certain traffic or this certain road. And there's an accident, I'm late. But I knew intuitively I shouldn't do that. Or, don't park your car here and your car is towed or you get a ticket. So we always get a warning, but we ignore it. And that's important about finding who you are, because you all have intuition or gut feeling, whatever you want to call it. And we never want to place ourselves in a position that makes us a victim. At the same time, it doesn't give an excuse for you to be a victim. So this is a very complex thought, because some of you that are listening to this is that I didn't want to abuse or I want to be raped or what and so forth. Well, this woman sitting next to me wrote a beautiful book, Healing the Holes in the Soul. And she went through, figuratively speaking, hell. You want to learn about it? Get her book. But this is something important she told me. She said to me, I want to thank everybody who ever abused me. And I said to her, why? And what did you tell me?
So because I learned a lot. Because I learned a lot. And those lessons are incredibly important for me and also show me my own strengths. I didn't know who I was either, but I'm still here. And I need to thank everyone for that, because I know what it feels like on the other side. And I would much rather be living a life right now than kicking myself for not listening to my inner voice.
So that's what's so important. You think she really wanted to be abused or all the things that went on in her life? Of course not. But she shows that path. So there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, what she just explained. But also, she's an inspiration for many women, children, and men that have been abused.
You're so kind.
Well, it's the truth. Well, you're welcome.
You're so kind. Thank you.
And also, she's opening up the door how to get out of abuse. So many people, the psychiatrists, psychologists, I'm not knocking them. Or psychiatrists, turn around, too bad, here's a pill, and that's it. That's the answer. And then the psychologists, many of them, not all of them, all right, open up the book. This is where you heal the trauma. This is what you do.
And one of their favorite lines is, and how did that make you feel?
Right? Isn't that wonderful? So
I heard that a lot. Here, take a pill. Call me next week.
You said it. But here's what's important. Every time something is reviewed, over and over, brought up, goes deeper, 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 deeper into subconscious. So, for example, maybe it's a quarter of an inch thick. Well, how do you feel? After a number of sessions, it's probably 27 feet thick. Then you have to peel the onion, layer after layer after layer. All right. But her journey, her path, is so important because now she can share it and open the door for you to heal your life and become self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. See, she discovered herself. She discovered who she is. And she chose a very difficult path, which I truly honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy journey, but I'm quite the character.
Yeah, but you survived. And that's what's important.
I figured out that, whoa, I'm starting to really see who I am. And, it's an amazing discovery when you actually look within your soul and you find out what strengths kept you going. I am not a quitter.
No, you're
way.
not.
And I don't think anyone here who's watching this is.
I believe you're right. So this is what's so important, everyone. We're talking about who am I, what's your path, and that everything in your life is very powerful. And I'm not going to enumerate what I went through in my life that was challenging. Was it as challenging as much as hers? No. But to me, it was just as painful. But in reality, if we compare the two, hers was much greater.
Don't bet on it.
What?
He has shared a little bit of his challenges with me, and all I can say is that I admire your tenacity and the fact that you keep on moving forward with your mission and goal to help all of us.
Thank you.
I wouldn't be here today sharing any of my story. There would be no book had it not been for Michael.
Well, thank you. You honor me. I appreciate it.
You honor me for spending time with me.
Thank you. Hey, this is the Mutual Admiration Society. We can go on for hours. But the truth is that I wrote in my Facebook one time, what would I change in my life? And I said nothing because it made me who I am today.
Yep.
And I'm growing and changing just like you are watching this, like TU is, everyone is. Everything is evolving. But at this time, over the next 6 months, it's important for each one of us to discover who you really are. What are you? And it's remember, not your title, it's who you truly are. What is your essence? And I watch people run away. And I watch them how they go into, I'm going to say, lying to themselves. Now, they may be consciously or unconsciously aware of it, but I meet so many people telling so many stories and justifying everything. And then when you point something out and you push the button, they get angry and scream and yell at you. Well, you are right. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Then on the other hand, when you mention it, they vociferously defend themselves. Vociferously, actively, embellishing it, defending themselves.
He always teaches me new words. It's too funny.
And in doing so, they create a facade as an excuse. And you know what? There are no excuses. When somebody points something out to me, I say thank you. I look at it and say, okay, you're right. No excuses. You're right. I created or I did this. And that's what's so important. Once in a while we forget, but whatever it may be. But it was so important for you to look at your life and take responsibility. That's finding who you truly are. Taking responsibility for everything you've created. Now, it's not about beating yourself up because I allowed this happen, that happened. What did you learn? That's what's so important. What did you learn from this experience? And when you learned it, then you become empowered. When you become empowered, then things fall in place in your life. Because then you're following your life path. And your life path is not your ego. Not at all. And sooner or later, when you do that, it ends up blowing up in your face. as we can see to some wonderful billionaires now who are going through divorce and things that are happening, and I'm not going to enumerate their names. So, what is your direction in life? How do you find your direction in life? What's the best way to go? Well, there are two ways, and they all involve listening to the thoughts of your soul. Follow that gut feeling. Follow that little voice in your head. Not the one that justifies everything, but the one that says, do this. So let's talk about the ego. Anytime the ego speaks, it has to justify. Buy this hat, the price is right, the good color, yada, yada, yada. Now, if it's not the ego and it's your soul, buy the house, buy that cat. That's it. I remember when I wanted to buy a car, I wanted to buy another make of car, and I went to another one. And I went there. Now, why am I here? I want the other car. And I got a heck of a deal. And it's so important. We need to understand, to listen to our soul. Another method is, before you go to sleep, say I'd like a direction or an answer to whatever it is in a clear and concise way that I cannot misunderstand. That's all you need to do. And repeat it every night. You may get an answer you don't like.
I did.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
And you end up with egg on your face. A little more than that, but I know.
Well, careful what you wish for, careful what you ask for, and be ready for whatever the answer is that comes along. Because in the end, it's the right one. You just don't know it right away.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And is it true that sometimes people are actually afraid to find out who they are?
Oh, yes. Because in their mind, they think they're a terrible person. Or they have to face what I call the music of all the other things they've manipulated and done, that they're now second guessing themselves. The bottom line is that we're all in service to each other. And we're all brothers and sisters to each other, mothers and fathers, whatever you want to call it. We're all in relation to one another. And that's so important for us to understand. So what is our identity? And that's part of discovering who you truly are. Your identity is the soul, mother, father, whatever you may be. And we're now beginning to lose track of it. And, the other day, I was at a hospital taking a client. And this may sound controversial, but I'm really confused. And it said male, female, trans female, and it said no gender. Wow. So I asked my client, what do you want to be? She said, I'm a woman. Okay, female. I checked it off. But there's so much confusion going on that we're losing our identity. Now, whether you choose to be trans this or trans that, that's part of your identity. There's nothing wrong with that, if that's what you choose. But first of all, you have to listen to the thoughts of your soul, not your ego. And if that's what you're supposed to be, go for it. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, go back to whatever it was before, or whatever makes your heart sing. Because that's part of identifying who you are, whatever makes your heart sing. Not your ego. And that's the problem with so many people today. They're ego driven. Look at my title. I learned a new expression, FOMO, FOMO, afraid of missing out. Wow. Afraid of missing out. So they have to be at every party, every gathering, because they may miss something and they may not be the center of attention. Well, what do you want to be the center of attention? Ego, self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem out the back door. Yeah.
If they're afraid of missing out, FOMO, then but they're so worried about everybody else's opinion, how everybody else is looking at them, then they're only stroking ego and they don't even know who they really are.
That's right.
So are you not then missing out on the best part of everything?
Exactly.
Who you are.
Exactly. And then we got to discover who we are. And then the other expression I really abhor, life is too short.
Oh, I heard that the other
Oh,
day.
just makes me so angry inside. Those that I know, I said, be careful what you say. What you think you create, what you create, you experience. Remember that one?
Mhm.
Really important to know. Compared to how old your soul is, which is millions and billions of years old, yeah, life on earth is shorter than your age. But your life on earth is your reality. And whether you live 20, 30, 40, 60, 100, 110, 20, whatever it is, it's not short. It's an experience that you chose to have. Because you see, when you're not in the body, you can't smell the flowers. You can't feel the sun warming on your body. You can't feel the touch of another person. You cannot feel what food tastes like. And you cannot see the smile of a baby, so happy to see you, or the joy of giving birth, or the joy of watching your children get married, or the joy of your child coming to you and hugging you, or your mom and dad giving you your birthday cake or whatever it is, or your grandparents. This life is meant to be enjoyed to the fullest. Also, it is a school of learning about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. So who are you? Think about that. Go into self-discovery. Just look at yourself. Besides whatever gender you are or you choose to be, you're a lot more than that. You see, because you're a role model for everyone around you. And your epitaph, when it's all over and you birth out of your body, how much do you love? How much did you care? How much did you contribute? And what is your legacy? You need to remember that. Tio, how much time do we have left?
Well, we need to wrap it up, Michael.
All right. It's amazing how Spirit comes to me and says, oh, time's beginning to end. So everyone, I just want to talk a little bit about one thing. And that is every Tuesday evening, I have my call-in.
I have
That
the number
is-
right here.
All right, and it's Pacific Standard Time from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Sometimes runs a little over. And I've got almost 200 10-minute messages. Dio's going to tell you the telephone number and how to listen to the messages. Now they're audio. So when you're stuck in traffic, grumbling, which sometimes I do, listen to those messages and you'll feel much better. But you can still keep your eyes on the road.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Keep your eyes on the road, right?
Right, you don't want to use the hit and miss method, everyone, because
Oh, no.
sooner or later you're going to hit it. So,
Right.
what are the numbers?
Okay, the Tuesday night call in, it's 6:30 Pacific time, Pacific Standard Time. It's 202-926-1059. One more time, 202-926-1059, and the access code
125446 pound. 125446 pound. And the repeat plays.
Okay, the recordings you can find at 434-300-4170. One more time, 434-300-4170, and the access code is
125446 pound. The same. You know, I want to thank Tio for giving the numbers slowly. I can't tell you how many messages. Michael, call me 277-645-119.
Okay.
I got to play it over 4 or 5 times to get the number. So when you leave someone a number, telephone number, please do it slowly so they can copy it the first time. And then I want to remind everybody on the second Saturday of every month at 9:55 Pacific Standard Time to 11:01 Pacific Standard Time, I do what I call a mass consciousness healing. And it is sending love and unconditional love to Mother Earth and to all its inhabitants. Because if you look around you, everyone, well, most people have forgotten about love. And that's so important because that's the glue that holds your body together. Without love, your body would begin to disintegrate. And if you don't think that's true, watch somebody who has an affliction and they're beginning to die. You'll understand the difference between love and not love.
One more time, okay? The number that they dial for Saturday, second Saturday of the month, is 202-926-1059. And I'll make sure I put everything in the comments. But Michael, what's the access code?
125-446#. It's the same thing.
Perfect.
Now, I would like to make a request for all of you to share this video. Share our 2 o'clock in the afternoon little talk. And yes, you can find it on YouTube or Facebook and the replays. But share it, because you know what the world is like right now. So full of chaos.
One thing I want to add, okay?
Sure.
The one thing I'd like to add is that, remember, everything is always changing. Our world, nothing stays the same. The only thing that you can hold on to is the love you feel within your heart. So make sure you hold that, share that, and let's enrich the world with unconditional love. Because right now, like Michael says, we really need that. We need that more than anything right now, because it keeps the glue not only within us, but in our community, in our family, and beyond. And we need to do that.
Beautiful words of wisdom. Thank you for sharing that to you.
I'm a good teacher.
Everyone, I wish you a wonderful day. Share this. To you, sis, thanks for being on with me. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. One more time. We do this every Sunday at 2, and we never take the recordings down. So you can scroll to any Sunday at 2 o'clock and share those links with people, because they're there. And they've been there. We started this last Sunday in December of last year. So
Wow.
You have a whole lot of catching up to do, you guys. One more time, okay?
Absolutely.
Seriously, best read I've ever had.
A heroic story of a woman rising from the ashes like the phoenix. What a great story to share with all of you. A story of inspiration, story of love, story of learning about self-worth, self-love, and self-empowerment. Everyone,
Thank you.
namaste.
Namaste.
Have a great day.
You too. You are unlimited, right?
You're right. You are unlimited.
You are unlimited. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.